What's up, everybody? It's your girl Kiwan, and I am back for a third time with Ginny and Georgia, season 3, episode 1. This wouldn't even be a podcast. Let me tell y'all something. I've been watching Ginny and Georgia since season 1. Okay? It's a lot to unpack. Have always been a lot to unpack between Miss Ginny and Georgia. Now, I will say this. I know everybody, every time I look online or wherever, everybody dislikes Ginny. And I'm a little indifferent a lot because Georgia has shifted everything. When you look at the dynamics, when you go back to season 1 looking at the dynamics of Ginny and Georgia, I said this under somebody comments, under one of the ladies' comments. She did a video on Ginny and Georgia, and I felt like Ginny has always had to be the adult, while Georgia lived out her missing childhood as an adult, in adult form. Ginny had to always be responsible for Georgia's emotions, for Georgia's behavior, for Georgia's actions. Now, I will say this. Georgia has done a lot of things to protect Ginny. Georgia comes from a space of survival mode. That's all right. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there, y'all. So before I start, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell button so you can be updated on every video that I drop. Okay? So let's just go ahead and go ahead. So season 3 begins with Ginny. She walking through the halls. Y'all know everybody's staring at her because y'all remember Georgia got arrested last season for unaliving what's her name? Unaliving what's that lady's name? Lord, I didn't write down the lady's name. She was arrested for smothering the lady. I wonder if it was Caroline. I think her husband by suffocating him with the pillow. But she did it because Caroline said to her, I just wish it was over. Now, I don't think Caroline asked her to do it. I don't remember, but Georgia did it. Anyway, meanwhile, oh yeah, that's what I was saying. She was being arrested, and they put Georgia in an interrogation room. Over at school, Maxine and Abby are asking, why are you at school? Asking Ginny why is she at school. Ginny was like, well, my mama innocent, so we gonna get up out of this, okay? But what she don't know is her mama is not innocent, okay? So Georgia meets with her lawyer that Paul has hired for her. Georgia has to await her arraignment, which is on Monday, and he asked if both the kids and Paul can come into the courtroom. And he tells her that because, the judge is a family man. And so this would sway the judge. She says she doesn't know why she's arrested. And he also explains to her if she's convicted, what she could be facing. But Georgia also does not want Ginny or what's the little man name? I just talked about him. I don't know why he's so forgettable. I love him. Austin. Sorry, that's his name. Austin. She doesn't want them to come to the courthouse. She doesn't want them to see her like that. So over at the school, you see the kids, shoo-shooing to each other, talking about Ginny, just being rude and cruel. And you can actually hear the other kids talking about Ginny. And of course, Ginny copes by self-harming herself. So she takes the rubber bands and she plucks them, on her hand. And so Ginny and Abby actually skipped school because she was like, let me just get out of here. And this is hard for Ginny because she also copes by burning herself. Y'all know that's self-mutilation. And that's how she's always been able to cope. And I feel bad for her. And so Jenny asked Abby about Nora. Nora is the little Asian girl. She's being weird because her and her mom believe that Georgia did what they accused her of. She did, but you know. Anyway, Abby tells Jenny that Nora's mom, Bev, is uptight. And then Abby actually shifts the conversation to her mom and tells Jenny, I bet my mom don't have coffee in that cup, because Abby's mom and her dad are divorcing, or they may have divorced already. And so she's not sure how people can trust her mom with their mental health, because her mom is a therapist. And Jenny realizes in this moment, I should call my therapist. Now Jenny is emotionally aware, and I think she kind of had to grow up a little fast. And it's like Georgia was more of Jenny's friend, because Georgia had Jenny, I think, when she was 15. So Max. Max and Max is the girl across the street. Max is the friend who thinks everything is about her. Her and her family, y'all know they live across the street. They signed because their dad is hearing impaired. So Max says she notices how Jenny and Abby has gotten closer. And I like Max, but Max is overly dramatic, and if the attention and the spotlight isn't on her, then she feels away. She must be a Sagittarius, okay? Not the December Sagittarius, but the November Sagittarius. Shout out to all the Sagittarius, okay? Okay. Anyway, um, friend, I hope you don't see this. I love you because you a November Sag, and I'm a no, she not. I'm sorry, no, you not. You a Scorpio. My bad. I love you. Anyway, Max asked Silver to hang out with her, y'all. Max likes Silver. She has a thing for her, and I think Silver likes Max. But Silver is besties with her brother. Y'all know, I keep forgetting his doggone name. I wrote it down, y'all. But it starts with an M. Anyway, her brother tells her that all of these people coming to you asking about Jenny ain't nothing but some vultures. And he was like, they just want to know what's happening. They're not really seeing it for Jenny or maybe you right now, but they just want to know what's happening. And he also tells Max, hey, don't make Jenny's situation about you. So we get to the therapy session. Jenny is telling the therapist how she never know what's going on with her mom. And this is how everything starts. All the secrets that Georgia has held, Jenny started to find out some things, and Jenny knew she was lying about some things. And so that's what aggravates Jenny the most. So Jenny admits that she is scared that her mom is in jail. She doesn't know. She doesn't want her mom to go to prison. She doesn't know how to process. And I think that's what's happening. She does not know fully what's going on with her mom. And her mom also teaches them to lie and keep secrets all the time. That's not okay either. She don't know how to process all of it. And so she says she wants to burn. And so she says she feels like she will, but it's just a matter of when. Like, she knows she's gonna burn herself, because I told y'all she burns her hand, but she doesn't know when. And they know she do it. Her dad and her mom knows, so that's why she's in therapy. So the therapist asks her, she says, what if you relapse? Jenny admits that I give myself a window to cry and feel the feels, and I rage about it and reflect. Jenny said, oh, no. Oh, I'm sorry. The therapist tells Jenny what happened, if she relapses, you give yourself a window to cry and rage about it, and then you reflect. So Jenny said that her plan is to distract, move her body, such as going for a run, remove herself, and prioritize her peace. And I was like, wow. And Jenny's only, what, 16 or 17? And so, and then she says she talks about it. But here, this is where the big problem comes in. The therapist, the, the therapist tells her that they're only as sick as the secrets we keep. And this is the secrets that we hold. I'm sorry, y'all. The therapist says that they are only as sick as the secrets that you keep, and that secrets hold power. The therapist reminds Jenny that she's growing because you knew to call your therapist. So the problem with that part is Georgia doesn't want Jenny to share anything. Georgia has trust issues because of things that has happened. Georgia has done things and unalived more than one person, but it was all to protect. She lied, she schemed, she manipulated, she was in survival mode, and she used her pretty to get whatever she wanted. If you notice, that's how she was able to get everything from season 1 up until season 3, by using her pretty, her blonde hair, her 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 jovial personality, I guess. I don't know. So why I keep trying to put my hand up there? So in the next scene, Paul goes to see Georgia. She's pretty much angry at this point. And he asks her, "No, I need you to calm down." She asks if he regrets marrying her, wanting to marry her, because they didn't get married yet. They were on their way. They were having their wedding, and they were arrested her at the wedding. And so he says no, but there is a part of me that feels like Paul is lying. Now, I only seen episode 1. So she asks to see Ginny and Austin. Can you bring them to the jail before my arraignment? And so so we get a flashback of Georgia visiting Austin's dad. He's in jail. Gil. Okay, his name is Gil. Gil was abusive to to Georgia. Gil was not a nice person. Even when he got out, he was just not a nice person. So he was behind bars, and so she goes to visit Gil one last time, and she tells her, "I'm leaving." He then tells her, "You're stupid. Nobody will want you with 2 kids." And once she told Gil she was leaving, he got pissed off, and I think that was him. He has thrived off of that anger, because when Gil returned back last season, it was to get back at Georgia, aka Mary, because her name is Mary, but she changed it to Georgia when she was on the run. So we flash forward. Austin is visibly sad. You can see him at the table. Paul is cooking breakfast for him, and Paul tells Ginny and Austin that they can go visit Georgia today, because tomorrow is her arraignment. They ask Paul something about murdering somebody in there. Do she have enough tampons? Is she okay? Like, it was a whole slew of questions that they was asking. So Ginny and Austin get to the jail with Paul. They're sitting there in front of Georgia, and they just smile, and they got this goofy look on their face, because Paul told them, "Listen, we need y'all to be brave and just be strong." And so Georgia was like, "Are y'all okay? Because I'm okay." And so Austin was like, "Listen, are there any gangs in jail?" Jenny was like, "Do you have deodorant? You need tampons? What do you need?" And so Jenny was like, "I'm fine." Okay. So they start to talk about the judge's son. The judge's son is a little prick who goes to Ginny High School, and he made a comment to Ginny about her mom being in jail. And so she walked off. And so and then Paul was telling Georgia about the judge's wife, and she was like, "Oh, is that the one that make the nasty pies?" I was like, "Oh my god!" So Paul, Ginny, and Austin get ready to leave, and they walk out. Georgia talks to Ginny and tells Ginny, she literally tells Ginny, you can't tell anything. You can't tell anyone you can't tell you can't tell anything to anybody, and you don't need to trust anybody. Again, you're asking her to withhold secrets, which is causing her to self-harm. We're back at square one. Anyway, Marcus is his name. So Marcus' mom, I forget her name. She's such a nice lady. She takes Marcus into the garage, and her and her husband decided to make Marcus an art studio, and to deal with his depression, because Marcus fell into a really bad depressive state last season. And so because he was doing a lot, he was getting in trouble, he was just doing the most. And so he was like, he didn't really like it, but he was just like, okay, whatever. And so his mom suggests that he focus on him and less on what's going on across the street. So Zion, y'all know Zion is Jenny's dad, and he's over at Georgia and Paul house cooking for everybody. He gives Ginny the keys to his motorbike so she can go to a poetry night to kind of do some release. And she goes by herself, and she meet people that she don't know, and they sitting in this little class, and there's a professor in there and everything, and they're doing poetry. So we get a flashback of Georgia taking the kids to wherever they going on their destination when she was running away from Gil. And she was taking the kids to go live with Zion. I want to say she was really young. And so this is when I pointed out Georgia is always the child with with Ginny. Georgia is always the child while Ginny becomes the adult. Like, that dynamic is so crazy to me. So the instructor flash forward. The instructor asked Ginny what. Oh, I'm sorry. Did they do the hunger part yet? And so, I'm sorry, y'all. Okay. So, Jenny goes to her poetry thing, and she actually lies. I just wanted to point out she lies and tells them her name is Gia. I guess she didn't want them to know her full name, just because I guess whatever is going on, I don't know. So over at Max and Marcus's house, they're sitting having a family dinner. They're discussing Georgia, and overall, Marcus's dad wants him to check on his own mental health. Max is acting jealous about Jenny because the attention is on Jenny. And I like Max. Max just aggravates me sometimes. Like, she have to be loud. It's almost like, because she's a twin, she wants to stand out by herself, so she do it. She can't stand out by herself because she's a twin, so she do it in her friend group. She tries to be that person to stand out, and it's like, girl, it's annoying at this point. So Paul and Zion talk, and he asks he asks Zion, "Do you think Georgia did it?" And Zion tells Paul that Georgia is strong. From there, Paul is like, "You think she did it?" I think Paul believes she did it, but I think he want to give her the benefit of the doubt. So Paul starts to cry. And so in the next scene, we see Joe. Y'all know Joe owns the restaurant. He visits Cynthia. That's her name. Cynthia's husband is the one that Georgia unalived and smothered with the pillow. But Cynthia did tell Georgia, "I just want this to be over." And I think Georgia was trying to help, but she made everything worse. And so Joe visits Cynthia, bring her some food, and she just cries in his arms. So I think there's a thing that's going to happen between her and Joe. I don't know, because y'all know Joe used to like Georgia. Y'all know Georgia has a weight. She used her womanly wiles to get what she needs. Not her body. She just used her femininity to get what she needs. So Ginny, in the next scene, we see Ginny is outside with Marcus smoking a cigarette. And I'm like, if you notice, we are pointing out little things. Ginny has to lie. So she's smoking a cigarette. She's ditching school. Just all in this one scene, she's still hitting herself with the rubber band. But she did make it a point to go to head to therapy. And so they both shared their emotions with one another. But at this point, I feel like they have been trauma bonding since last season. They're really trauma bonding because he's in deep depression and she's dumping her stuff onto him, not realizing that you're adding on to his trauma, because now he can barely carry his trauma, but he wants to try to carry hers too. Can't happen, especially with them being teenagers and them not knowing where to place a lot of their anger. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so we get a flashback of Georgia. The kids are saying that they're hungry. Georgia pumps the gas, goes into this diner, just pickpockets and steals money. No, I'm like, all these people and nobody don't see her stealing. And she get 2 cookies for her kids. She lied to get the cookies. She steals because survivor mode. And so there he is. And she gets out of the diner. Nobody saw her do that, but it was a room full of people in that diner. But whatever. So Georgia gets a visit from Austin's dad in jail. He threatens to take Austin, and we see that Gil hasn't changed. He's just trying to stick it to Ginny at this point. I feel like a person like Gil could never take somebody like Austin, because he's going to inflict the same pain on Austin that he did on Ginny, and then he's probably going to try to turn Austin against Ginny. That's just my take on people like Gil. And Austin is such a sweet person. But another thing I had noticed, that Georgia, sorry, did I say Ginny? I meant to say Georgia. Georgia has a way of manipulating her kids. And she gaslights, I think I'm using this term right. She gaslights what's his name? Austin, in this make-believe space and in this make-believe world, because y'all know the glasses that Austin wear. Okay, so she stole that out of a lady bag in a diner, broke the lens, and gave him the glasses, and he's been having those glasses since. With Georgia, she emotionally sometimes manipulates and pals. On Ginny. She emotionally manipulates Ginny, and that's what she do everybody. She manipulates people. That's her thing. That's survival. She's in that survival mode space. And so she manipulates Ginny sometimes emotionally. Anyway, and I'm sorry, let me just keep on going. So somehow Georgia used the little strawberry candies. She has something else in her hand to make her eyeshadow. She took her outfit and she had on a bridesmaid dress. She was able to use the strawberry candy as some type of lipstick, and use something else as some eyeshadow. And she used something to roll up her hair. I was just like, girl, really? Anyway, this is how Georgia shows up at her arraignment. Um, and I did note, I remember she unalived Cynthia's husband because she said she wanted everything to be over. Georgia has been released on house arrest. Um, and we come to find out that Austin was at the house, and he saw Georgia do it. And this is another, we're gonna keep piling on Ginny as Austin to keep it a secret. I said, y'all really finna turn little Austin into a mini Gil. I'm sorry, like, this is the sweet Austin that we know. I think is gonna vanish, like, for, yeah, that sweet Austin that we know. Anyway, Jenny goes to Georgia's room, and Georgia is completely acting obtuse as if nothing happened. And that is why Jenny is always pissed off, because instead of her just keeping it a buck, she always want to act like it's sunshine and roses and unicorns. That shit is aggravating. And Jenny tells Georgia Austin saw her do it. Georgia feels like she failed. She failed to protect her children. And then then somehow Georgia makes herself the victim. Like, I knew she was going to pull on Jenny heartstrings, and she did just that. Whether she knew it or not, she played on that little girl heartstrings so she can garner up some type of sympathy. I'm sorry, y'all. We get a flashback with Georgia getting back into the car, and then she tells her kids it's us against the world. Flash forward, Georgia is holding Jenny there, laying in the bed, and Jenny tells her it's us against the world. And this is what an episode ends. Y'all, my daughter said it was really good. Yeah, it just seemed like a lot because I keep seeing clips, and I'm trying not to watch the clips. Anyway, I will come to y'all with the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and that is going to be it for me today. Bye.